And really talking about the process and what you're going through kind of leads to the next question, which is a multiplier that you've used to grow. And I don't want to fill in process there, but it sure sounds like it. So
you're
what's a
stealing my
multiplier?
thunder. It's absolutely process. Look, we as entrepreneurs, we get so hooked on these great new shiny objects. And I think, fortunately, I studied all of the so-called robber barons. I hate that title because it really is a misnomer. It's a mistake to call them robber barons. So this is the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, and you know what? Their businesses obviously were simple because they didn't have a huge amount of technology. But think about it. Rockefeller grew basically the biggest business on the planet. He didn't have an iPad and email and Slack and all this crap. It's like, okay, so it's obvious that stuff isn't necessary to build a huge company. So then we have to ask as entrepreneurs, if it's not necessary, then why are we using it? It's like, maybe we should just use Google spreadsheets, huh? How about that? So absolutely, process is going to be the multiplier, not because it makes you rigid. And I like to, because I'm a very creative person. What I like to tell people is if you look at like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, nobody would debate about those people being artistic and creative. And they had a process. They didn't just sit down and say, oh, I think today I'm going to, draw a hand with 6 fingers. And it wasn't, they didn't even sit down and say, I'm going to draw a hand with triangles. Their process was all the way down to proportion between, joints in somebody's finger, how far the fingers were spaced. And so we would look at their work and say, it's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely artistic. And yet what sits behind it is a rigid, inflexible process. And so I like to tell that story because people that I talk to are like, oh, process, I don't want to be constrained, man, especially my Silicon Valley, brethren. They feel like, they're just going to be put into this box. It's like, you know what? You wind up being shackled to the next shiny object when you're not constrained by process. When you have a process, you have literally unlimited freedom. Unlimited freedom is just expressed through a certain framework. And so maybe that'll help some people if they're thinking about or kind of rejecting the idea of, my business doesn't need process or it doesn't quite fit. Look, if you want to grow and you're in business, you need to have processes, because what will happen is as you multiply, the stupid gets multiplied as well. And so the process helps us to get the stupid out of our business, right? Because we've all had this experience. We may not say it nowadays in the politically correct culture, but someone will do something on the team and in private, like, man, that was stupid. Why did they do that? It's like, well, because they weren't following a process. That's why. And so you can't multiply the stupid and grow something that's going to last, that's going to have value, that someday you can exit for a lot of money, or something that's going to reliably throw off cash flow. The stupid will drive the errors up enough so it sucks out the cash flow and it lowers your asset base.